All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Serious Angler Podcast, where, as always, our main course for you will be talking and hopefully teaching you more about bass fishing. And, of course, that does not come without a distraction or 10 here or there. Whether you guys are here to learn or to hear some bass and banter, you guys are in the right spot. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbert, and joined with me is the Bassin captain, Mr. Andy Full, and Idaho's finest, Mr. Adam Deacon. Fellas, what's going on?
Yeah, it's just another day in the neighborhood. I guess it's finally sunny here in Western New York and warming for 3 days before it gets cold again. So, yeah, life is good right now.
Is that out there, Deacon? Are you getting some sun at least?
Dude, yes. It's super. It was super hot this last weekend, but I dig how we're both wearing the same shirt. Omnia shirts.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good look, guys.
Great look.
We're almost twinning. Yeah.
I love it.
It's funny too that Andy, my wife put out she made a TikTok yesterday. She's been ramping up her content game, which has been cool to watch and help with. But she made a TikTok yesterday that says it was like scanning over Western New York. She says, check in on your upstate New York friends. We haven't seen sun since like 6 months.
Oh,
yeah. She's not wrong. It's been brutal.
So my sister-in-law did a triathlon yesterday before recording this, and the whole way we're driving there, I'm like, Amanda, it's sunny out, right? To my wife, she's like, yeah, this is great. We get to the triathlon, it was cloudy and miserable, and I'm like, we're going back home. Like, I don't want to be here. But awesome job to my sister-in-law. She won first place for her age group, so it was pretty sweet to see. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just fished a little local derb, an ABA event team tournament on Cascade, really cool lake in central Idaho, I would call it, up in the mountains. But even up there, it was like 80s, high 70s.
Oh,
down in Boise, it was like
so jealous.
It was almost 100 this weekend. Like it was like,
oh my god,
it was too hot. Like went the other way, but like it felt great, man. Like it was a fun. I haven't ever done or it's been a long time since I've done a tournament mixed with like some fun, but we had like friend group up at a cabin in Cascade. Team partner Lauren and I fished the Derby, but like hung out the whole weekend, like got out on the boat just with friends, etc. Like went bass fishing. It was a fun overall, like not as serious. Wish we would have done better in the Derb. We finished 5th, which was good, but missed a check by 1. And it paid to 4th. So we got a nice plaque for 5th, which is always like sick. Woo. Yeah, exactly. But dude, we fished for a 5.5, maybe a 6 that was on a bed for 3 hours. And if we would have caught her, like that was it. Like we had a good bag with 14.5 pounds. Outside of that, it took 17 to win, I think. And it was like we had a 2.5.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, you had to sit on it.
We had a chance, and she just would not. Like she wouldn't leave, but we could not get her to go. It was one of those just like fished her for an hour in the morning and then went back at the end of the day for the last hour and a half, and it just never worked out. Part of it.
Yeah, I hear that. I had a similar one, not those conditions. I had a derb on Saturday, in typical form. I genuinely think national and local in the past 3 years, I think I've had one tournament where it was sunny and calm. Where Saturday was, it started out the morning as 55 degrees and rain, and turned into, at the end of the day, by the time we got off the water at 2:00, it was 42 degrees, rain, and 30-mile-an-hour winds. So everyone was dripping wet, freezing, and ready to go home.
That sounds.
It was like one of those days, dude.
Tough day.
Yeah, it was miserable. I ended up fishing like 9th out of. It was like 48 or something like that. Just I ended up having too much fun catching schoolers on topwater and just stayed way too stubborn. Chose fun over win, but that's okay. Caught a nice 6.5 pound largemouth though, throwing a mag. So that was fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Otherwise, it's all good. But either way, fun episode today. Banger episode. A lot of nuggets getting dropped on this one. We have Mr. Patrick Walters joining the show. And Andy, tell the folks a little bit what we're going to be diving into with Patty.
Yeah, so we're diving into tech and no tech, right? And the difference between fishing the Elite Series and the NPFL and all the preparation that goes into fishing both leagues and how it's kind of the same, but also vastly different. So there's a lot there, and we just touched briefly on like his overall career at the start and to today and everything that goes in with it, man. It's a really good one. So I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's some fun nuggets in this one. But before we get into that, Deacon, what's been some of the buzz around the industry?
Yeah, man. Folks, again, the Business from the Bass Boat section of today's show is brought to you by Rec Lending. If you are in the market or want to just check where you are at, if you are financing a boat or RV, side by side, any sort of recreational vehicle, give them a call. Super easy to talk to, and they will steer you in the right direction, even if it is not them. So as far as industry news goes, Shimano, bunch of new reels dropped. They're all sorts of things, expensive, as high-end Shimanos are in the first place, but they are, there's a pile of new Shimanos. Have you guys been able to take a look at these at all?
It looks like the two major ones that they shared was the new Essence reels and then a new Stella, which it seems like another year a new Stella. I don't know how many renditions of a Stella can you make? 'Cause I feel like they already made it.
It's funny. I feel like with the Stella is they initially launched some type of new technology with it, and then slowly you'll see that technology kind of get dubbed down but spread out all the way through like the lower end reels, so like a Vanford or a Stratic. So as they launch it, now you'll see in like the next 2 years that technology will slowly start coming down as they launch new technology in the next brand of Stella.
So what you're saying is in 20 years, I can buy a Nassie or
Yeah.
has basically the Stella for $100.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but like I know with the Vanford has some Stella technology in it, like certain parts in like I don't know exactly how to describe it, but there's certain integral parts of the Vanford that has Stella technology in it from the past.
Have you guys been able to use a Stella before?
I don't.
They're smooth as butter. I've faintly touched one once, but yeah, it's like, yeah, this is too expensive for me. And I had a client that brought one on the boat, and I was like, yeah, this is just too much. Like, take it back.
Gonna hurt somebody with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hurt somebody. I fished with Thrift at an event for Humminbird once, and it was so funny, dude. A freaking Fitzgerald spinning rod, and there's a Stella sitting on it, and he gave it to me to try when we were fishing on Lanier, and I'm just looking at this thing, and I had made one cast of it, and I'm like, this isn't healthy for me to be using this thing because you can give it a spinning reel, especially for us northern folk. You guys know very well is if it's pretty nice, you can convince us to spend large amounts of money on something like that. Not that I'd pay a Stella full price, but it was not healthy for my gear addiction as bad as it already is. But no, with the Shimano thing, man, they launched that, and there definitely seemed to be some negative feedback from some of the pages that we follow that are gear nerds, and it was mostly all focused around the price increase on, at least specifically the Essence models. But it'd be interesting to see how this all transpires and how that factors into this whole tariff deal and how that goes forward. But I think, if anything, what this is showing us is a lot of what we talked about with the potential increases, the emphasis on certain brands that have reels in that $100 to $200 price point that do a really good job with those reels. And I think you're going to see more people going to those, like the Daiwa Tatula MQ that, we all have used. Those, I think it was like $170. I don't know if they're still $170, but like incredible reel for the price point. There's a couple brands that make some pretty good stuff around that 200 and below. But I think you might see some more people start moving that way just with how prices are going up.
For sure.
100%.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
But some big more tournament news too.
Derby news. I was out of touch kind of all weekend, but I did see that Ish won the BAM Pro-Am on the Delta. Good to see Ish win on the Delta.
Shocker.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I haven't seen him win though fairly recently that I can think of. I mean, obviously he's a hammer there, has done a lot. He generally top 10s all the time. But I'm sure he's won one here recently that I can't think of. But it was cool to see that he popped one there. Sounds very Ish fashion. Looked like there was frogging going on, punching going on. I didn't read too much into how he won. Did you guys check that out at all?
No, I haven't gotten the scoop. I sent him a message when I saw that he won just to kind of say congratulations and stuff. But I need to do in the deep dive, and maybe we get them back on Seriously Western here soon to kind of talk about how all that went down. But I would imagine I would put a considerable amount of money in betting that he's probably punching frog and doing the ish thing. But nonetheless, it sounded. I mean, there's a 12-pounder caught too. I think it was day one or something like that.
The Delta and Clear Lake right now are fishing so hot. It's awesome. Like, I mean, it's just, lakes go in cycles, and California right now has got a heck of a couple of lakes that are popping off. So cool to see. Excited to get there in the fall.
I was gonna say, you got to be drooling at your upcoming schedule, dude.
As long as they stay okay through summer, the fall should be just absolute biggins. Should be fun.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, and the last one, I meant to mention this on last week's show, so I apologize because he had won by that time. But the heavy hitters that happened on Smith Mountain Lake, Nick Hatfield coming with the dub,
stud,
unreal. It was a fun event to watch. Did you guys get to watch any of that?
I didn't.
I saw some clips of it, but yeah, same. Not much time to watch, unfortunately.
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. A lot of shallow bassing, dude. Like, guys, a lot of overhanging trees, skipping chatterbaits, topwaters, buzz baits, a lot of that action going on, which was made it pretty entertaining. But it seems like a pretty healthy bite, both offshore and pretty, I guess, on the bank. So it was a cool mix anyway for the heavy hitters.
I think Smith Mountain's going to be a lake that you see return to like the Elite Series schedule and BPT in the future, just because I heard it's been fishing really well the last few years, and it seems like it's on the up and up.
Yeah,
see that.
Well, and I think definitely from the regards of like talking about the BPT is, they've had the opportunity obviously in the past. We've seen them dip into it like with new locations, but like when their field was 40 anglers a day type of deal, with your group A, group B. Now it's like what 50 something anglers, I think, in the BPT. Like they have with that field, like you can go to a lot of different fisheries and fisheries that we've never seen a pro tour go to. And hopefully they keep doing stuff like that, which would be cool. Cause obviously, you see bigger local tournaments happen on a bunch of these fisheries that, are tiny, bigger than 50 boats anyway. So they got a pretty cool opportunity. I know there's obviously the business side involved, in getting money to go to places, but hopefully they keep expanding on different stuff like that. Like, it'd be cool to see them go to like a Spirit Lake in Iowa, which would make sense for them, having a Berkeley sponsor. The Berkeley Labs is right there, and that place is just stupid good. But be cool. Hopefully somebody freaking goes out west, dude.
That would, I don't see it happening, but that would be sick. Yeah, but Iowa, I like that idea. No one's ever messed around with any of that. Like, that would be, I could see that happening. Like, quite frankly, bold take. Before something happens out west, I could see something else happen in some of those Midwestern states more often, as we're seeing the opens kind of make that swing and have success there.
They go to Missouri, so it's like it's
not that far.
Can't be that too much. Yeah.
And how big
is Hawaii? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's hopefully we'll keep seeing that expanding. Like, we've seen obviously them go to Smith Mountain and different locations that we saw last year. I can't even remember the freaking name of the ones that they did in Louisiana. I can't remember off the top of my head. Obviously, it was weird name. Yeah, it seems like
Louisiana, like French or whatever. Like the naming of all these.
Yeah,
I'm still lost like every time.
Oh, you know what? I'd be remiss if we didn't say this too. Speaking of Louisiana, it just reminded me of this. Dude, R.I.P. to Phil Robertson, man.
Yeah,
absolute legend. Just felt like that was worth being mentioned because that is a man amongst men. And I went on a Rudd's live stream last week. We talked about this at length, so people can, if they want a full, tangent on this, go check out Rudd's podcast. But I felt like that was worth being said because that dude was like, if you're an outdoorsman, you know who Phil Robertson is, and he was a very, very good leader spiritually and just how to be a good human being, which I think a lot of people can take lessons of these days. So, But well, before we get into the show here with Mr. Patrick Walters, real quick for you folks is wanted to mention now's the time where a lot of people are getting out of school, going on trips, vacations, things like that. And for the folks that, we're talking about outdoorsy folks, if you're going camping, whether an RV, things like that, and you need some stuff to power you while you're off grid, take a look at the Amped Outdoors power stations because one, they're incredible. I've been running one all year long with truck camping, things like that. And it can power phone, laptop, different devices like that, GoPro batteries for weeks. So take advantage of those. Will always link down below. But Omni Efficient also has some pretty cool sales going on right now. They got 20% off Bubba, all Bubba products until 6/16. You can still get $500 off of Minn Kota until the 18th, I believe. X Zone just dropped their new Rally Shad, which is a new rival over at Omnia Fishing, as well as some. I've never even heard of this brand, guys, but the Danco tools. You guys heard of that brand before?
On Omnia?
I've never even heard of Danco.
No, yeah.
They just have a whole lineup of tools that are affordable that they just put on Omnia Fishing, like scissors and pliers and stuff for like $9-10.
Oh, I see this snips. Yeah, I will say before the first one you mentioned there, guys, Bubba makes some incredible stuff. Like obviously the scales, we see everyone using the scales, and they're expensive and super great. And I've got one. It's what I used for culling and everything else. But guys, their tools, like the shears, I have those small shears. Awesome for cutting braid, for cutting, I mean, everything like that. Would absolutely highly recommend, especially at 20% off right now on Omnia. I'm gonna go probably order another pair of shears as well as their pliers. Like I might do their culling kit, like or they're like actual cull tags. Like why not? It's all good stuff.
Yeah, completely agree. There is something to say about a nice pair of scissors, especially as an angler that can, you know it, you can appreciate as an angler a nice pair of scissors. It definitely just makes things a lot easier, cleaner too.
I think I have more scissors in my boat than I do like pliers and other things, just because of like I want them everywhere. So I'm like, oh, here's a pair. Just
I think I've ordered like 40 pairs of those $8 Rapala scissors over the years, and you either just lose them or they rust out or whatever, and you might as well just go spend $30 on a, especially now 20% off on some Bubba.
Yeah, no, it's there. Let me see right now. The small shears. I might try the mediums too, but the small shears are $20, man. Awesome pair of scissors. They've been on my boat for
that's a
2 years. They haven't rusted out. For sure, the best scissors I've used.
Yeah, if you're like me and you lose them, just slap a lanyard on them or something like that. Keep them in the boat. That way you don't lose. I finally did that. I don't know why it took me 5-6 years to finally just slap a lanyard on these tools so I don't lose them. But
he goes to sit back in the tool pouch on the Hobie and he just drops them in the water and doesn't realize it and keeps going.
Dude, I'm just stupid. Like I'll just go to a parking lot and I'll rest them on like, I don't know, some concrete foundation that I park next to, and I'll leave them there. Like or I put them on the back of my tonneau cover or something. I drive off and they just fall off. Just stupid
that's
stuff.
my problem.
I've done that. I almost lost my keys twice in the past 2 weeks because like I have like your trailer lock, so I will go and unlock it and I'd put it on top of my tonneau cover and I drive. And I'd
put it in your pocket.
I gotta figure out something, man. So stupid.
You're always wearing hoodies. Put it in your hoodie pocket, that front one. So instead of get down, it's a quick slide in, right? Like
Andy, you're providing simple, logical solutions to somebody that's not intelligent. I'm obviously not going to follow.
I'm also horrible.
Well, I'm telling you to do this, and I'm the same way. Like I just set them on top of the tonneau cover. So, or I put them the other day. I couldn't find my keys. I put them on the front deck of my boat because I had to get something out of the truck, and I just set them down and walked away, and didn't even realize I had them on the boat. And I'm like, somebody could have stole my car. Like they're out there for like 10 hours on the bow of my boat. It's good.
Yeah, love it.
Are you guys like me where you'll go to a room to do something and you'll get to that room and forget what you're in that room to do?
That's 80% of my
like 5 other things.
That's how I walk around through life. Like it's ridiculous. It's like if I was actually could get stuff together, like do you know how dangerous I would be at stuff? Like it'd be great. But like, yeah, I just am out here struggling, swimming along, and it's getting me through. But like, gosh, dude.
Oh, the worst is when you walk into that room and you forget what you went to do and you get all the way back downstairs. You're like, oh crap. Like you have to go all the way back up. Yeah. That happens to me at least 4 times a day. At least.
You ask my wife, I'm king of going to get water, pouring my glass of water, putting it on the counter and going back in the living room and then forgetting that I poured my glass of water till like 30 minutes later.
Yes.
Yeah. But all right. With that being said, we can go down that rabbit hole anytime. But last thing I'll say that's cool that Omni Efficient is doing is they have a Built to Serve shirt right now that's in collaboration with the Veterans on the Water. And I think it's every shirt. I think it's like a $40 shirt, but $20 of each shirt goes to that foundation. So something cool for folks if you guys want to take advantage and help out a good cause, get a cool looking T-shirt. They have that available. But fellas, I think without further ado, let's get into today's show with Mr. Patrick Walters.
Let's do it.
All right, folks, we're here joined by Mr. Patrick Walters. Patty, what's going on, man?
Not too much, guys. In between 2-3 week stints, been at the home for a week and a half now, so packing things up.
We got you now.
It's like, yeah, you need to get packing is what it's telling me. That's what it's got some time at the house now. We've been kind of just spending time with some family and get things ready. We're about to head back to Oklahoma, 2 weeks out there, and it's gonna be a different trip. That's what it's when you kind of get fishing so much, you just get in that rhythm. You almost don't want to stop fishing. That's the thing. It's like it's exhausting. I mean, it wears you out. Your boat's a mess, but at the same time, you're like, well, I mean, you're fishing good, so just keep going. And then you get ready for this next Oklahoma trip, and I mean, you follow for the NPFL is like 9 feet high right now. It's dropping. 10 killers like 5 foot high. It's dropping. It dropped 4 feet in the last 4 days. So, I mean, it's Oklahoma. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. Do you get excited when you see that the water's rising that high, or is it usually a negative?
It all depends. Depends on the time of year. Depends on what's going on, how tough the fishery is. Sometimes, I mean, I do like rising water. It's gonna make them bite sometimes. I don't like it when it's 9 feet high and it's out the banks for forever, because then you lose the fish. There's just so much area. I mean, when you have a 13,000 acre lake and it turns into a 50,000 acre lake, it's still the same population of fish, you know. But if it comes up a foot and it's still 13,000 acres, you know, it just sends them to the bank, puts them in the bushes, and I mean, who doesn't love catching them in the dirt?
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. So we're gonna dive into a bunch of stuff on the show with you, man. But I think to kind of lay the foundation of it is, and for folks that are especially tuning in on YouTube, they can see that trophy case. You know, you've been around the block. You got some accomplishments. You know, great resume going. But we'll love to, you know, at a high level, kind of talk about your route to where you are now. Like, kind of working your way up from realizing you wanted to become a pro angler to how you got to that point, if you don't mind.
To be honest, it just happens sometimes. Like you have to devote a lot of time and effort to it. But it started off just being in the outdoors, growing up hunting and fishing and stuff like that. My dad got me into fishing. We grew up hunting and all that stuff, but we never bass fished. We saltwater fished. We grew up offshore fishing, inshore fishing. If we fished freshwater, it was for brim. I mean, we just shellcracker fished and stuff like that. And then I fished my first bass tournament with a buddy of mine, Bradford Beavers. He's a great fisherman. He's a great local around here in South Carolina. It was a Fishers of Men Legacy Division, an adult junior. He had just turned 18, so he couldn't fish as the youth anymore with his dad, and so he needed a kid. And I was in like 6th grade at the time, and he asked me, and I was like, "Sure." I've never fished a bass tournament. Like, I don't know anything about it. I showed up with 5 spinning rods. Like, we saltwater fished. I mean, I didn't even know what a bait caster was hardly at the time, and it was at Lake Murray. And we were in a 17-foot Stratus with a 90 Evinrude on it. We had an Evinrude trolling motor, like the throwback, you know, like it still had the rope to steer that thing. And that just a blast off. The smell of the 2 strokes. I mean, it was like, that was America. You know, the smoke. It was a boat race, and then we got to spend all day outdoors, and we were fishing. And we caught some fish. I don't think we won. I think we might have got paid. We caught some bass, but it wasn't anything crazy. But it was just that one tournament. I went home that day. I said, "Dad, we got to get into bass fishing." I said, "I don't know what it is." I was like, "That was the most addicting." I've never tried heroin or crack, but I can promise you, it's darn near it. And he was like, "Okay, you know, I mean, it was just like full vein. Veins were popping, son. I mean, you were like tweaking. And he was like, "Okay, you know, we'll try it, you know." And I can't thank him enough for being willing to just be like, "You know what? We'll try bass fishing. We'll do it." And we fished the first couple tournaments together out of a flats boat, out of a huge flats boat. We didn't know anything what we were doing, and we were so far from it. But see, that's the thing. You don't have to know what you're doing. You can work to it. I mean, it's just looking back at how far we were from it. It's hilarious. And so I still fished a couple tournaments with Bradford, and we traveled around and fished some Fishers of Men. And then me and Dad fished together. Like, we started fishing the team series, and I mean, we were fishing 5 or 6 tournaments a year. Wasn't much. And then we got to high school, and I started like loving it. I mean, it was just that's what I want to do. When I got to high school, it's like I want to fish professionally. Sophomore year of high school, I actually quit baseball because Dad said, "Listen, you can do a lot of things, but you can do a lot of things also half-ass. If you ever want to be good at something, you got to devote your time to it.
Amen.
And so that's kind of how we looked at it. And I was like, I was playing baseball, and I mean, I'm not good at baseball. Not even gonna act like I am. I mean, we all can play. I played football in the fall, but went to a small school. I graduated with 18 kids. Like they kind of needed they needed a warm body on the team,
Yeah.
and so I quit baseball my sophomore year of high school, and they thought I was crazy. They were like, "Why you're quitting baseball to fish?" And it was like we weren't even fishing like traveling tournaments. We were just fishing local stuff. But it was just I actually had a parking spot at my school to carry my bass boat after school, because by that time like we got a bass boat. We were bass fishing. We had an '04 Ranger, and just you just have to get addicted to it almost. I mean, it's kind of selfish. It is for a lot of reasons. Like a lot of people are going to pay a toll for you because it's like you devote your time to it. I mean, you're just tunnel vision, and just when you spend that much time on something, you're going to get better at it. Hands down. When you do that
Mhm.
much research on something, you're playing with baits, you don't even have to be that much better than the next person. But if you're spending more time at it, you will get better eventually and over time. And then it just kind of fished through high school, fell in love with it. I didn't even know high school fishing existed then. I wanted to go straight professional out of high school. And I had a local friend of mine, he's an older fella, says like, because I was like, I'm ready, I can catch him around the house. He's like, no, he's like, you're not ready. He's like, you think you are? He said, but go to school, get an education. That's what my mom wanted. He said, get some experience, and that was some of the best advice I ever got because if I'd have went straight professional, straight at the opens out of high school, I mean, I'd have got my teeth kicked in. I mean, no doubt. I mean, and I didn't have the travel experience. I could catch them in my 3 home ponds, Lake Murray, Hartwell, and Santee, but I didn't have the national experience. Then I
Yeah.
went to South Carolina and fished for the university there, and that's where the learning curve kicked in. It was like just traveling around the country fishing at a more affordable price. I mean, because there's no entry fees. You're fishing with your buddies. You're fishing in Florida every year, fishing in Alabama. You learn the multi-day format, and I mean the college they're literally making great anglers. The college format is, and then
Yeah.
from college fishing went to the opens, and then opens from there on.
Would you say that one moment, that piece of advice, or going through the college ranks was a bigger stepping stone for you, like to get where you're at now? Like, what do you think is a bigger moment of impact?
Repeat the question. It froze again on me for some reason.
Oh, my bad. Which do you think was a bigger moment of impact for you, like in your career now? Was it getting that advice to take the college route, or actually going through the college ranks?
Going through the college ranks, I would say, because it was like you had to have that advice to go to it, but then going through the college ranks and just learning all those different fisheries, all the buddies you meet along the way, and everybody's got a home pond, and then you talk to your buddy and kind of learn how he fishes a body of water and stuff like that. And we didn't share as much information back then as they do now. It's crazy how the learning curves just cut down. And then now with technology and stuff and YouTube videos, I mean, back in the day, like they would always say, if you wanted to learn something, you had to, you had to know somebody who did it. So now it's like you just click on a YouTube video. I mean, we
Yeah.
can learn a new technique in 30 minutes that we've never heard about. Like how do you do this? Like we don't know. It's just like, well, watch a YouTube video on it, and it's still going to be trial and error of you learning how to do it. But
A lot
you're a
quicker.
lot closer than you were. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you can have an 8-year-old go through the College of Bass Fishing on YouTube.
Exactly.
And I think there's also something to be said, right? Like once you develop your skill set to some degree, say it's even 5-10 years on the water of digging into things, then when you see a new technique or something, like the time frame to get good at it after watching some YouTube video or someone doing it is so fast. It's like, okay,
It's
I
so
know why
fast.
these
I mean,
fish are doing it. It's insane.
well, because you compare it to something else. You compare it's kind of similar to this bait, and so it's very similar. And it's like, well, it's going to be, you're going to use it for this type of technique. And like you said, the more time you have on the water, the quicker you can adapt to it. I feel like I can pick up any bait nowadays and be like, well, I'm going to catch fish on it. Like I can't tell you how many times I've tied a brand new bait on that I've never thrown before, and I tie it on in a tournament, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna catch them on, or I'm gonna try it. It's just like it might be the deal, it might not. It's just, but you that's the only way to build confidence into something.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to try.
Absolutely not. Listen, fishing is you're gonna throw a lot of stuff at the fan and something's gonna stick eventually. So you gotta try everything. You gotta be optimistic and open to it.
the old dartboard analogy. Just throw it until it sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's fast forward to today. I want one word to describe your fishing career to this point, and then describe that one word why.
I don't know. I would say average. I don't know why. I mean, it's just like, and it's not where I want it to be.
100% disagree, but anyway.
I mean, but it's just like it's
otherwise.
been good. I mean, it's been great so far, but it's just like I don't really look back so far. I haven't looked back. I tried not to. You know, one day I'll look back and reflect on fishing and be like, man, that was, you know, that was a good run. But it's just you, your life kind of changes as you get older. Stuff too. Now you got a family, you got a kid. We built a house and stuff, and so it's just like you have up and down years, and so that's why it's kind of like it hasn't been as consistent as I want it to be. But consistency is what I would we'd probably change the word. I'd say consistent. That's what I like to be. That's what I've always tried to be. Because I always said consistency pays the bills, no matter what. I want to catch 5 bass. I want to get paid at every tournament and go from there. I want to win every single one of them, no doubt. But sometimes you got to know when to. You got to be consistent. You know, I'm not going to go throw a glide bait all day long. You know, I like throwing baits that catch bass. I will throw a glide bait at times because it's a tool. You got to use baits as tools. I use them to find fish sometimes. You know, there's some conditions where they just won't bite it. So it's like you just got to. The fish are going to talk to you. You just had to listen to them. So being consistent in every single tournament over the course of your career just makes for a good career.
Yeah. I'm curious from your mindset. Like, it's easy for us, like the three of us as fans, and you know, whether it's other analysts throughout the industry, to say, oh, you're a veteran or you're on the newer side. But I'm more curious from you, like, where your mindset's at. Do you view yourself more on the veteran side of things, or still somebody that's kind of newer to the pro ranks?
I still feel like I'm new sometimes. Like, it doesn't feel like I've been here that long. But over the last couple of months, I've seen myself getting saltier. I'm turning into that old salty
cranky man.
Old cranky, I'm telling you. Because they're like trying to take pictures of my baits and stuff now, and I'm like, you ain't taking a picture of that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's like, and I'm just like getting on the people that bass, and I'm just like, man, I know, like I'm tired of giving tricks out for free. Like, this tricks ain't for kids, okay? Like, I done put too much effort into this to just give stuff out nowadays. And so it's like, I still feel like I'm trying to prove myself. You know, you're still trying to catch bass and you want to do good. And I still feel like I'm in the early stages of my career, but I have started to see I'm getting a little bit saltier.
Love that.
And it's like, what are these kids doing on my spot? You know, it's like, this is my creek. It's like, God, I feel like Tommy Biffle out there sometimes. And I'm like, everybody can fish here. You know, it's just dang locals. You know, I'm just like, where are they coming from? Like, God, you know, it's just
Gotcha.
This entire creek is mine, kids.
This entire creek, like, at least this left side. Like, what's he doing behind me? You know, no, it's just fishing.
I'd love it, man. I'd say you're at that level. I don't know, from an outsider's perspective, seems like that perfect prime level career wise, in my opinion. Like, you're past that rookie stage, and just watching this as a fan, to where you're not that older veteran. You see it, unfortunately, that taper down, right? That does seem to occur in guys' careers, right? And this is any sport, anything you're doing, right? But it seems like that window of, like, on the top of it all, man. It seems like you're in a really good place.
Well, I think when you start to see that bell curve go down and it could be at any age. I think it's when you see anglers and athletes stop willing to adapt. You know, when they're like comfortable in their mode, like, this is how they fish, this is their routine, this is their rhythm. Listen, times change. It's always going to. The baits are going to change, the fishing's going to change, the anglers are going to get better, without a doubt. I mean, you could think Kevin Van Dam thought he was going to be the best thing forever. I mean, but see, he's retired now. It changed, and I look up to Kevin. Kevin's a freaking man. And it's just, things change, and so it's like, you'll never be the best forever. I mean, you could have the best stats if you get there eventually, but when you see anglers stop willing to adapt, and they don't want to use technology, and they don't want to do this, and they're just going to fish their comfort levels, that's when you start to see that decline. So, and just, that's why Rick Clunn fished till he was 77 years old. He embraced technology. He had Garmin. He had LiveScope on his boat. He was willing to use it. And so he was like that his entire career. He was willing to adapt. He was willing to accept change and do whatever it took to keep catching bass. And that's what it takes to maintain being relevant, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good segue. Just technology. I mean, you're in the position right now. It's really, really cool to watch the whole fishing two trails, right? You're balancing two completely different trails at the pro level. Going from tech, now some limitations, but not crazy limitations on the Elite Series, to NPFL, no forward facing involved, etc. Related to that, like, would love to know the stark differences on how you break this down going into these events, being that they're so different. I guess from at least a playing field standpoint, but like, how do you prepare differently, for instance?
That's a good question. It definitely changes how you prepare, because I got a list of, like, each tournament I'm prepping for,
Mhm.
I jot mentally what I'm gonna do down. How am I gonna fish? What am I gonna target? What area of the lakes I'm gonna do? And then I'll have a list of baits that I'm gonna have tied on. Like, I'll have 50 different baits rigged and ready. I mean, like, my rod box will be full of kind of like, what am I gonna prepare for? And those are two different sheets of paper. Usually, because I'm going to Eufaula and 10 Killer. Usually those two, I mean, they're an hour apart in Oklahoma. You think those would be very identical? They're not,
Yeah,
because
those are
it's
different.
completely different, the baits you use when you're using forward facing sonar and you're shaking a minnow and you're fishing for suspended fish and you're fishing fish on the bottom 30 feet, compared to I'm fishing in the dirt. I'm flipping bushes. I'm running as far back to a creek as I can. But the good thing is, I love doing that stuff. I love fishing shallow. I grew up, thank goodness, fishing in South Carolina, where we have so many versatile fisheries. We have tidal fisheries. We can fish in the mountains. We can fish in the dirt. We have bushes. I mean, it's you can do everything in this state, and that's kind of. I grew up on Santee Cooper, and 5 feet was deep. I used to think a bass, if it swam deeper than 15 foot of water, died. Like, I didn't think they could actually go that deep. Like, there's a couple areas where there's 30 feet, and I was like, 30 feet, good lord! Like, I hope the boat doesn't sink. Like, we'll never, like, this is the abyss. Like, now I'm like, 30 feet, like, geez, we'll just catch one on the bottom real quick. Like, we'll just point over there and there he is. It's just so. That's why I like forward facing sonar, because I still can use that shallow water mindset. But see, what's crazy though is when I fish the elites and I'm fishing with sonar, I'm the people I fish next to and that I run into in the tournament is completely different from the people I run into in the NPFL. Like, I'll run into Trey or JT, run into some scopers. It's just like me and him are always fishing the same stuff. And then if I'm fishing the NPFL, all 3 NPFLs this year, the only person I've really shared water with is Jason Christie. And so it's
That's
just like, I don't run into Jason Christie at the elites. We never share water. Never have not ran into him. But when I'm fishing the elites, I'm fishing for different fish. If you can use sonar, it's just like your strategy has to change. And mine, it does. It's like I'm adapting to what I think that lake is capable of producing. And when you can use sonar, it's usually more than without. So, and when I take it away, it's like, well, my game plan changes. I'm trying to go to the shallowest water and as far back as I can get every time, usually.
wow.
I love that
That was
mindset. Just adapting the circumstance. Yeah.
100%.
that.
Each one's going to be different. I'm not going to do the same thing twice, because I'm going to do what I think. Kyle Welcher is the best at phrasing this. He is a great angler and he's a great gambler, but he's always about odds and percentages. And we are the same way, but you have to analyze it as percentages. What are the best ways for me to catch a fish and be most efficient? But he just sees it in numbers, and I just see it as like, you're just making a good decision, like a gut call. Like, what am I going to do to increase my odds of catching a fish? And so it's just putting your bait where you think you got a better chance of catching one. And see, when the weights are going to vary with scope, I mean, these fisheries cannot be fishing as good as they are fishing right now. Every fishery in the country, they're fishing as better than they have been, and I don't think the fisheries are getting better. I think we're getting better at catching them.
I
With as
agree.
much pressures out there, and I mean, all the high school tournaments and college tournaments, hundreds of boats in a tournament, like, we're pressuring these fish, but we're still, the weights are like unreal. Every time you go somewhere, like, it took 14 pounds or something to make the cut at Hartwell in that elite. That's
Keeps
kind of
going up.
crazy for 50 people to catch
It is.
14 pounds. So it's just, I think some fisheries are getting better, but I mean, fisheries are going to go up and down and swing, but we're just getting better at catching them.
Right.
See, this would be cool where that advanced bass stats page, Deke, where it'd be cool to see like the trends of fisheries over time, like how the average weight, like cut weights go up. That'd be cool, and to kind of see what corresponds with that.
Yeah, I think it just your total bags are just consistently right. And I'm not even talking your top end. Yes, we've seen top ends go way up, but like go look at an event where it used to be like, man, the bottom third didn't have a limit. And now it's like, oh no, everybody has a limit, like
Every
something
person.
happened.
The cut weight would always go down a pound. I can't tell you the last time the cut weight has gone down a pound, besides Sabine this year, which I don't even know if it went down. It has been consistent every single tournament. It goes up usually, and that's like terrible because you're like, man, these people are gonna run out of fish. But no, they just get more dialed in as the tournament goes. I mean, you could always bank, like you said, the bottom field would not have a limit or something like that, and now it's just that's. If somebody doesn't have a limit, he's got 4 for like 24 or something. And you're like, God, like you went the other way.
Yeah.
Gosh dang. And with that, with obviously fishing the 2 trails, going through college ranks, things like that, you've been able to, get across the country, experience some different fisheries. And obviously, from saying that 5 foot was deep as Santee to then winning the St. Lawrence River event on smallmouth, it's safe to say that obviously you've learned a lot, adapted a lot. What do you think has been one of the biggest learning lessons in not only trying to get comfortable on different fisheries, but become more successful on like varying fisheries, I should say?
That's a hard one because it's like there's so many different variables that go into it.
Mm.
The smallmouth took me a long time because I mean you'd go up there and you'd catch hundreds of fish. Like you could go just catch smallmouth at will anywhere you went, doing any pattern, but learning that they hang out in size class fish. If you're catching 3.5s, you're not going to catch a 4.5 in there. But down south, if you find a school in the TVA, you throw a plug in there. Your first one might be a 7, and then you'll catch a 12-incher, then you'll catch a 4, then you'll catch a non-keeper, then you catch a 2.5, and it's just like that's just down south how schools get. And so in my mind, I was like, you go up there, it's like I'm catching bass, like I'm gonna just do whatever I can to be consistent and catch the most fish. Never the case up there. Not in smallmouth. Like you have to find what that size caliber fish you want to catch are doing. Whether they're up shallow, whether they're out deep, whether they're all together, whether it's a bait sometimes. It's just, and so that's what took me so long of just going up there and getting my teeth kicked in and just like, how do I catch bigger fish? And to catch bigger fish up there, you got to find them. That's it, plain and simple. You got to find them. They're gonna bite the same cricket that 12-incher is gonna eat. You just have to be putting your cricket in the right place. And that's the biggest thing with smallmouth. But just learning each fishery, kind of learning, each state or region has their own kind of uniqueness. So just kind of doing research, watching a bunch of videos, and really time on the water, getting to know those fisheries. It's like when you go to Oklahoma, you can pretty much fish shallow year round. It just is what it is. You go up north and it's different up there. So
that's cool. And
I lost you again. Oop. Got me back?
We got you now. You're good.
I don't know why it's buffering like that, but mainly just learning each region, kind of what it takes, and finding the fish, the size fish you want to fish for.
Yeah. So had you been to the Pascatank yet when you saw that on the schedule? Like, have you fished that fishery prior to being on the elite schedule?
Which one?
The Pascatank?
Nope, I have never. I wanted to go up there and pre-fish, and I didn't pre-fish. I should have. I really like the Pascatank. I had some serious issues go down on that one that kind of changed. Yeah, I had some technical issues go. I made a 2.5-hour run the first day. Caught 12.5 pounds, and I lost like a 7.5 pounder at the boat, like a freaking hammer. And I'm like, okay, no worries. Man. Like I'm gonna go catch him tomorrow, the next day. And on the way back of that 2.5-hour run, I got 30 minutes, and then my trim got stuck down. So I had no trim whatsoever, and it was nothing to do with the motor or anything like that. It was just a wiring issue. I have no idea why that. Y'all got me back? I have no idea why that thing's buffering like that.
No, you're good. We heard
but
wiring
it got stuck trimmed down, and I had to go 2 hours in the roughest conditions I've ever been in my entire life. I mean, I can see why I'm being salty now. Like after that, it's like I see why sailors they cuss a lot, because I'm telling you, like I gripped the foam off of my steering wheel, like it's got no grip left. It was 2 hours trimmed down. I'm talking about stuffing them. I broke a lot of
that's
stuff.
no good.
And I mean, a
That's
lot of
no
stuff,
good.
it was bad. And then the next day, we get out there, trim still not fixed. I had missed blast off by an hour. Trim wasn't fixed. So then I finally get out there at like 8 o'clock, still don't have any trim. So I can't run to my fish that were 2.5 hours away. And so then it just wasn't my conditions. But I actually really like that fishery. I had one of the best practices I actually had all year. I was catching 50 plus fish a day. Like, I mean, they were chewing. Like, you just had to just fish. But it all depends. It's just like any tidal fishery. There's dead zones and there's zones that they live in, and you really just kind of have to be around them. And clearly, I fished the wrong place at the boat landing. When I fished the boat landing, I went the other way and should have went that way. But hey, sometimes it's a 50-50, and sometimes you flip that coin wrong.
That's right. I like it. Well,
Careful.
and I'm curious, just as we're talking tournament prep, et cetera, like for instance, you wish you would have went and pre-practiced that one. But these fisheries now, I mean, there's no secret, right? The elites go back to the same places a
I
decent
wish it
amount,
was.
right? Um,
Yep.
and basically now, like, do you do any additional research when you're going back to a place you've been to, and how many, is that like, hey, I've been to this place once, I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do at this point? Or are you like checking YouTube to see of like something else, or what's kind of your thought process once you've been to a place?
I still do some research. It really depends on how well I know the fishery. If I've only been there one time, absolutely still doing research. Like, we've only been to 10 killer one time, and I'm still doing research because it's always different conditions. You can go to the same fishery at the same exact date the following year, something's going to be different. No matter what it is. It's like you can go to Gunnersville every year at the same time of year. That place is always different. The grass changes, the water changes. So I'll still watch some videos, look for fishing reports, stuff like that. Look for like the latest videos just to see what's going on, because sometimes there's grass, sometimes there could have been a fish kill, anything. So everything's always changing. So it's good to kind of keep up on it. But no, I do a lot of tournament prep like that, watching the YouTube videos, just kind of, it doesn't hurt to go in there with a good idea. That way you're not going there blind. Sometimes it's like, if I'm off a 3-week trip, that third tournament, we're just showing up with what we got tied on.
It's blind, baby.
Yeah. Like when I showed up at Douglas, I had 1 day of practice. I only fished with the rods I had from Sabine tied on, because I had to drive straight from Sabine to Douglas and to get that 1 day of practice. And it's like, yeah, I was throwing square bills and miniature poppers and compact spinner baits. It was like, it's getting what it's getting.
I mean, I feel like it was a good event to do that.
It was a good event, yeah, because the water was coming up and they were heading to the bush. It was a good shad spawn, but then we had a cold front and it kind of killed it. But that's
Fair enough.
fishing.
Now, what would you say is your most underappreciated like research tool or app that you use when you're getting ready for a tournament?
That's a good question.
I'm
messing with you. It's like, are we freezing again? No. I would just say the willpower. I would say the want to research, because it gets boring. I mean, but it's like when you're on page 7 of Google and you're like, damn, this is getting good. But it's just like, even YouTube, but just like, you got to want to do it. If you don't want to do it and you don't love it, then it just gets boring. And so it does get boring sometimes, and it's just, you got to maintain that drive. So I'd say that's the biggest thing. There's not one tool that's better than all of them. All of them are great tools, each one. I mean, I use Google Earth a bunch. Everybody does. Navionics, Lake Masters. You got a map study. Look at the lakes, see what the lakes look like, and then you're watching videos as well. So really, there's not one thing that, I'd say probably lake levels, honestly, is probably one of the most things that people don't look at, is going to lakelevels.com and looking at the water level of the lake. Is it doing this, or is it doing that, or is it maintaining? So that's probably the number one thing, because then you got to know what you're getting into.
I love the first answer better. It's like, it's a good question. Just know.
That's a great question.
Yeah, great question.
Oh, that was good. That was awesome.
Well, man, on the less serious side of things, and I guess this could be serious, but who would be in a team derb? Like fishing a team derb, it could be close to home. It could be, hey, a place somewhere in New York, somewhere up north, or whatever else it may be. But it's a team tournament. You can pick anybody you want. Who's going to be your team derb partner?
That's a good one. I'd probably say Hamner, just because we fish so well together. Like, we've only fished, I think, 2 team tournaments together, and we've won both of them.
That helps.
Like, we need to honestly probably fish more, because
I'd say.
When we started traveling together, because in the opens we would always find the same fish. We do polar opposite things. It's weird. Like I say we're polar opposite, but we're not at the same time, because we'll do the same thing and we'll find the same fish in the same area, and we're like, why don't we just fish it together? Like, it's just every tournament's been like that. So that's why we just started traveling together, because it was just we work good together, but we do completely different things. And so when we fish a team tournament, it's just kind of like he wants to do something different, I want to do something different, but it's just like we work. It meshes well.
I like it.
Got it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
If I wanted to catch bass, that would be my team partner. If I wanted to have a good time, it'd probably be something different. But no,
I don't know, man. Watching his YouTube series, your YouTube series, it definitely seems like you guys have a good enough time traveling to these events. I'm sure you'd be all right. I'm sure
it's not too bad.
Yeah. Well, obviously, dude, we're wrapping up because we're asking some more fun questions on here. And one of the ones we'll wrap this sucker up with is kind of actually on more of the fun side, not fishing tournaments or anything like that. But if you were going to pick one angler, that was on tour that you had to put in charge of planning your bachelor party, who would be that angler?
I'd have to go with Lee. I have to go with my main man, Lee. Lee would be. That would be. I'd probably actually. It would only be the bachelor party, and then it would be like, yeah, you're not getting married anymore. If Lee lives the
Wedding's
picture
canceled.
for you, yeah, it's like the wedding's off. I'm just playing, but it would definitely be a guaranteed good time.
Hey, it sure looks like it when people get
Bad day for a bush light.
Yeah,
Bad day for a bush light. Love it.
Wasn't it something that I think Lee had said on live or something on Bassmaster Media? It was just something about you guys have like a little like side rivalry or something, just trying to beat each other in each event or something like that?
Always. From the start of our career when we were both fishing the opens, you can get him to tell the story. It's you might have to get him to tell off the air, but it was a knockdown drag out. We were going to the boat landing, like dead serious. We were going to the boat landing to finish something. We had some business to squash, and I mean we hated each other for a long time. I mean it was like I better not see you around, and then it was like into really darn good friends. Like I might talk to Lee once a week. I talk to him every tournament. I mean it's like it's crazy how far it's come.
That's a cool story.
But for a while there, it was not good.
I mean, you're a big dude as it is, but I mean, Lee in general is just a scary guy. That's a bad guy to have some beef with.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was some serious beef.
That's awesome, dude. Well, it's cool that it came full circle to obviously what it is now, that you pick him to plan your bachelor party.
Yeah, for real. Oh no. Yeah, we're darn good buds now.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
It is full circle.
Yeah. Well, fellas, we got anything else for Walters here?
No, I don't think so, man. It's been fun watching you fishing both tours, seeing kind of the differences and seeing you killing it on both sides of things, and look forward to your month of June.
Hopefully we catch some bass. I know it's going to be hot. I mean, typically June comes, it's like I'd like to be heading north and not heading west Oklahoma, but hey, somebody's going to catch them. Might as well be us.
I'll tell you about this in June right now. It's cold up here, so it is not your average.
Really?
Summer.
It's going to be 90 degrees in South Carolina here today. 90.
I think it was 54 yesterday or 55. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'll trade you.
Yeah.
How about we just meet in the middle? Just like, anywhere.
Yeah. We're up here in Western New York, and our water temps are still low 60s right now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just fished a tournament local in the mountains in Idaho, and it was they were spawning, but like water temps were like 63, something like that. But I would say
we are in different climates. It's June here, it's like I haven't been fishing since I've been home. I might go 1 or 2 days this week, but it's like it's just too hot. Like if I get in a boat right now, I want to head to the sandbar. You know, if they're spawning still and it's like that comfortable, it's like, dang, all right, yeah, I'd still be fishing. No, it's you're done by 10, or you're fishing in the afternoon here.
Well, let me ask this quick too. So for you though, I mean, it is hot now, but like for you guys down there, did it get hot a little bit later than usual this year?
I would say so. I mean, it's just now starting to get warm. I mean, like we were swimming in the pool yesterday, Shep was, and it was 79 to 80 degrees in a pool. So I mean, it has been progressed. We've had a ton of rain this year, and so that's cooled things down. And it really hasn't been that hot. It's been a good mild year so far. Thank goodness. Which hopefully that doesn't mean a hot summer.
Yeah, that's a conversation I've been having with some folks. I mean, around the country, like a good buddy of ours that lives in Knoxville, like just been saying how like it's been a super cold year. Like they're getting their first 80-degree weather day this week.
Oh wow.
Us too.
Yeah, I was in Douglas last week, and it was cool. Like every morning was like you'd have a hoodie on. Felt like. Yeah. So
interesting to see. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, dude,
that's one thing. If I wasn't a fisherman, I wish I'd have been a meteorologist. Because I don't care if you predict the weather wrong, you still getting paid. Like that weatherman has never been right, and he's like, I don't care if it rains or not, I'm still getting paid. You know.
There you go. I love it. Well, dude, thank you so much for taking time out. Seriously, it's been a pleasure to get you on here, man. And looking forward to seeing how it goes for you on Town Killer, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I do greatly appreciate it. If y'all need something, you know where to find me.
Yeah. That's right. Talk to you soon, man. Appreciate it. All right, folks. That is going to do it for today's show with Mr. Patrick Walters. Fellas, there was a lot of nuggets in that one. There's a lot to break down from the mind of Patrick Walters. What I guess Deke, I'll start with you, man. What was kind of your bigger takeaways from this show?
Yeah. Number one, Patty Walters is just a dude. He's such a good dude. I completely forgot too. I think I started wearing short shorts fishing because of Patrick Walters. That was something to probably mention to him. So next time we have him on, I'll be like, hey man, it's a great thing. You have so much more mobility. Anyways, people can take that how they want, but Patrick Walters catches big bass in short shorts. So I've been trying to do it, and it sometimes works. So
it's no longer suns out, guns out, right? It's suns out, like I almost said thuns out, but thighs out.
Yeah. Thuns out.
I thought you were going to say suns out, buns out. That's what I thought you were going to say. I was like, where are you going, Andy?
That's the way you want to float and fish on the front deck of your boat. And I mean, by all means, go right ahead. I won't judge.
What do they call them? Assless chaps?
Yeah. You have chaps. You can have banana hammocks. Like you can have all kinds of different things.
Unbelievable.
What is I think it's a skit. What is it with Larry the Cable Guy where he starts talking about crotchless waiters and everything like that? Oh god, blue collar comedy, dude. It's the greatest of our time. Greatest.
It's not even our time. It's like right with children.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. They know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
But Andy, what about you, man? What'd you take away from?
Well, hold up. I want to say on a serious note, I think the biggest takeaway that I took away from Patty was the idea of being obsessed with the preparation and digging in with that, because man, I feel it sometimes, right? Like prepping for a tournament, place I've never been, like I just get a little lazy, and then you're just like, I'm sick of trying to find something about this body of water. And I think there's a level of that where you can go too far and spin yourself out, but I need to stay diligent on that stuff and on bodies that I've even been to, like go check out new parts of bodies of water, research new things. So anyways, that was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. I feel like mentally it sets you apart from, that's why he's like, when he said, Andy asked the question of, the one way you describe your career thus far, and he said consistent. I think that plays a big factor into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The more prepared you are, you limit how much true defeat you have, right? Like, because you're prepared for most things that happen. You can be more level than have peaks and valleys. So peaks are great, valleys are bad. Try to avoid the valleys. But no, I think my biggest takeaway is the fact that he kind of beat a horse, like a dead horse we haven't talked about in a while, and that's anglers not being willing to adapt, right? And we still see it. So many people are afraid to change, afraid to embrace technology. And here he is fishing both trails, one that doesn't have technology and one that does. And he's basically at the top of both, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like,
absolutely.
You can't be afraid to change, but also knowing the past and how to fish that way is also very beneficial in situations. So yeah, don't be afraid to change, but also you can still live in the past and have success. You just
100%.
Everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I think a great example of that was Welcher goes and wins, obviously scoping spawners and stuff like that on the Pasca tank. And people are like, oh, take that cheater box away, and they can't catch him. Then he almost goes and wins the next event on Norman.
Yeah.
In the NPFL without. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, These guys are good for a reason. Like guys like Patty Walters are good for a freaking reason, as you guys saw on display. With his brain just works at a different level, and you see that with a handful of guys out there, and you see it like Apollonik. Obviously, you see it glaringly, like just the way he thinks about things are so much different than the rest of people. I think Patty Walters is in that bucket too. Says it'd be cool to keep diving into this with him, get him on some more shows, and yeah, I'll let Deacon just starts off. He's just a dude. Like I think
He's just a dude.
People get that, they get that loud and clear. But it was a fun show, and we got some cool ones coming up for the folks. We got a cool mix of people joining the show. We got Ike and Ellie coming on next week. We'll have a Seriously Western with you guys next week. You want to tell folks a little bit about that one, Deacon, for Monday's show?
Yeah, super excited for that one. Digging into a state that doesn't get really very little recognition anyway in the bass fishing space, but has some really incredible fisheries and great fishermen. Don't get me wrong, there's some high level guys that have come out of the state of Washington, but far northwest corner of the lower 48, super interesting state, diverse from a bass fishing standpoint, smallmouth, largemouth. So we've got one of the best, certainly in the state, and I would argue in some of the Northwest right now. So got Mr. Taylor Smith coming on to talk about everything Washington bass fishing.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have some fun shows coming up, and obviously following that, we'll have Seth Fighter coming on the show. We'll have I'm actually going on a trip next week. We'll have some podcasts to come from that, which we'll unveil that a little bit at a later show. Won't give away too much just yet, but some cool content coming from the Serious Angler podcast crew. So, but that being said, what do you guys got coming up? Any trips for Derbs or anything like Deke or Andy? I'm sure you're guiding like mad the rest of this month.
Yeah, this month is all gas, no brakes. So
all gas, Andy says.
Yeah, we got 6 days a week until the end of June.
Shoo.
Yeah,
that's getting it, dude. Yeah, no, I mean, man, I actually have intentionally, to some degree, don't have any major events. The next BAM event's not until either July, August on the Columbia River. I've got a local tournament end of June on a place I've never been. Another lake, not Oahe, but Oahe over in Oregon. Really neat fishery, big largemouth, actually a big body of water. So excited to go check that one out. Have never been there. End of June. But outside of that, man, I think I'm going to put in a lot of time and try and heavy prep on the Columbia. I mean, it's just a place I've only been to once, but it's not too far from the house. So I want to go just put some time into that one before the Super 60 there, sitting in a good place AOI, and want to finish the season strong to make that championship.
Heck yeah, dude. Love to hear that. And did you say Oahe? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Owyehe.
Oh.
Instead of Hawaii.
You're gonna have a lot of people thinking you're saying Hawaii.
Oh yeah, dude, well, I thought that's how you pronounce it when I first moved here. I was like, oh, it's like Hawaii. It's like the same as the.
Looks like it's a desert lake. That's pretty sweet,
dude. Guys, and I'm not trying to get. It's not like it used to be. It's coming back, from what I understand. But that place used to have 10-pounders in it, consistently, like a lot of very big desert largemouth. They're just big ones. So I'm excited to go break that one down. It's not too far from the house. But it's a big one. I mean, it's 40 miles long. It's one that we've talked about, as far as a BAM event or something else, it could host some big tournaments. It's a big body of water in the middle of nowhere, but it could host some big events.
Shoot, it hasn't stopped anybody else from something being out in the middle of nowhere. Hasn't stopped them before from having events. There's
the other Lake Oahe's the same way.
Exactly.
Middle of absolute nowhere.
Yeah. But 5 times bigger too, right?
Yeah, that one is huge. That one's real big.
Yeah.
270 miles long. Yeah.
Well, folks, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope you guys are glad that the real biology is back. We got was a little hiatus, obviously, with crazy travel between myself and Steve, but real biology that was posted this week, and obviously the show is flying right now, and hopefully y'all enjoying the show. And if you did, please leave us a rating and review. If you're listening on podcast format, or if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let us know maybe who you want to see in the show, what things you want discussed as well, because we definitely take that heavy into account, whether you comment on the YouTube side, DM us on social, send us an email, whichever is easier for y'all. But fellas, great show today. Folks, appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Adios. I'm copying Andy.
Adios.